So, Port St Lucie is what they used to call Port St Lucie in the 90s. There's still such negative and, hate out there. Whenever something happens, some troll will say, this place is awful. Port St Lucie is becoming a hole. Well, I encourage you to look at the stats. Port St Lucie is far from having the crime that exists down south and other places in the United States. But on the other hand, Port St Lucie isn't perfect either. So while doing your research, be sure to listen to both sides of the coin. Maybe you don't want to consider moving here, and that's what we'll talk about today. Hi, I'm Steve Kimos, a local realtor specializing in new construction here in beautiful Port St Lucie, Florida. Now, when my friends and neighbors learned that I had a passion for helping people, and they found out I wanted to be in real estate, they got mad at me. They said, don't bring more people here. That's the last thing we need. We like it as it is. And that leads me to the first issue with Port St Lucie, and that's population density. It is getting crowded here. The city says they plan for the increase in traffic, new schools, retail options needed, but there are growing pains. For example, despite redesigning the entire interchange, it's still especially crowded near I-95 and St. Lucie West. What was a 5-minute trip might take you 15 minutes. Now, people from the north or from other states might think there's no traffic issue at all, and it's all relative. But the local government says, well, they plan for all this. We'll see. And even with the increase in population, Port St Lucie still isn't as crowded as the counties to the south. But the population is becoming more dense here. Port St Lucie has a lot of land to the west to fill, and that's something to consider for the future. So let's talk about taxes. Taxes may be one reason you don't want to move to Port St Lucie, because St. Lucie County has some of the highest property taxes in Florida, at 1.8 to 2.2% if you have a high CDD fee. Now, if you can get a house of a similar size and features in a similarly safe area in another county, you can save $1,500 to $2,000 a year. But that's offset by the fact that you can't get a house for the same price in other counties. If you move my 2,000 square foot house into Martin County, it's $80,000 more, and into Palm Beach County, it's up to $120,000 more. So how many years of paying $1,500 to $2,000 more a year in taxes to make up that difference? It's years and years. So be sure to do that calculation when making your decision. People act like you can get the same thing in comparing apples to apples, but it really is an apples to oranges comparison. That's why most of our customers are from down south or from out of state. But make no mistake, the taxes here in Port St Lucie are higher. So next is getting to the beaches. The actual city of Port St Lucie doesn't have beaches. The beaches are out on Hutchinson Island, and they're only accessible by 2 bridges, one at Fort Pierce and the other at Jensen Beach. Port St Lucie doesn't have its own bridge to get out to Hutchinson Island, so it takes an extra 10 to 15 minutes to get to the beaches. Now, if you want to learn more about the beaches in St. Lucie County, check out my video link below on the beaches. Now, next is nightlife. Port St Lucie's kind of laid back. It has everything anyone would ever need, but it's geared more toward couples, families, and retirees. It lacks an extensive nightlife for single people 18 to 35 years old. There is a bar and club scene, but it's on a very small scale. If someone wants more variety and scale to their nightlife, they'll have to head to West Palm, Stewart, or maybe even Fort Pierce for that. So, getting a primary doctor can be an issue. Many people aren't getting primary doctors anymore with the rise of immediate healthcare corporations like Patient First and MD Now. But if you want a primary care doctor, make your appointment well in advance. It might take 6 months to a year to get an appointment. We choose the Martin Healthcare tradition for our medical needs, and they've been great. It just takes a long time to get an appointment. Also, if you need a specialist, you may have to drive 20 or 30 minutes to get to one. There's a nationwide problem, especially with primary care physicians that make on average $240,000 a year, whereas a specialist usually makes double that salary, well over $500,000 a year. Now, the government is implementing programs, and hospitals are striking deals for temporary housing to relocate doctors in order to entice them to move to the Treasure Coast. Now, they actually don't have to do too much prodding because the weather's fantastic here, the beaches, and the lack of a state income tax. Just the lack of a state income tax alone means a primary care physician can get a $20,000 a year raise just by moving into the area. Another reason is Port St Lucie isn't fully cooked yet. It's still in development. Port St Lucie continues to develop. Now, if you want a place that's built out and it's fully established, you might want to head to the towns down south or up north towards Orlando. Port St Lucie has room to grow, and it's continuing to draw and build entertainment and infrastructure. My guess is during the next 5 to 10 years, the area will be full of amenities and services that people would need. Now, if you're curious to see what's coming to Port St Lucie, check out my What's Coming to Port St Lucie video linked below. So lastly, things are a little cheaper or a little more expensive depending on where you're from and where you're moving from. If you're coming from New York, it's definitely cheaper here. But a couple I just worked with from suburban Pennsylvania pay a couple $100s more a year in car insurance and about $500 more a year for homeowners insurance. But this pales in comparison by the thousands they save by not paying state income taxes. So there are some things that might make you not want to move to the Treasure Coast, Port St Lucie, or just Tradition. But if you found this information useful, give it a like and be sure to subscribe. And as always, if you have a question, contact me. My information's on the screen and in the description below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.